So Suzanne asked, during dedication of merits after puja, do I dedicate to people that I wanted to dedicate to before or after dedication to all sentient beings? How do I do it? Well, there's no. Some students have ever asked me a similar question about how they should go about doing dedication to specific individuals. So there's no so-called strict way to do it. Like there's no Vinaya text or sutra where the Buddha say, 善男子善女人，若要为某众生回向，应当 no no such a sutra. But usually what I do is I'll do the general dedication, yeah, like the one we usually recite. There are many different types of dedication verses actually. The one that we commonly recite, I adopted it in part or mainly because of my stint in Kuomintang. Yeah. Prior to that, I usually recite 愿以此功德普及于一切，我等与众生皆共成佛道. Yeah. So usually after that, then if I want to do special dedication, then I would say 并回向. Yeah. So and also dedicate to so and so, and then whatever the situation may be. So this is how I usually do it. The important thing is to do it sincerely. Yeah. When we do dedication, in a way, it is like a practice of metta karuna. Yeah. It is a form of dedication in the form of expressing loving kindness and compassion towards the other person. So if we want to do it, yeah, we can do it that way also. Yeah, we can do it that way. It doesn't mean that it you must do it after the general dedication. Yeah. But I usually do it after that. Okay, that's it for this question. Danny, yes.
Good morning, Shifu and everyone. I have a question which I think is maybe interesting because it just came up. A relative asked me about it. You know, the temple, right, I say during Qingming and 7 months, they have different dedication packages for the departed, let's say for Chu Xian. So they have like a $1,000 package, $500, $200, and even $50 package. So I mean, there was a discussion saying that, you know, is it the more you pay, the more power there is, like $1,000 is superior to the $50 package. Then it's like, is it like more filial, more benefit for the departed? So I was like, no, but because for me, I think of it, it's more like if you buy a bigger package, it's like you're giving a bigger donation to the temple. And this is like, I mean, 大胆讲, it's an outsourced puja. You're not doing the dedication yourself, but you just okay. 1000块这个 package 有daily chanting for the departed plus 斋菜 plus maybe a big lamp. Yeah, maybe Shifu, you can tell us more.
Thank you for the question. So whenever there is any of those puja, and then they seem to have some packages, yeah, and sometimes they will come out with very fanciful names, you know, like 大功德斋什么, like Chinese New Year they will have like 大功德斋天, or then like Ulambana coming, right? So there was oftentimes seem to have a price tag to different sutras. Oh, like 弥陀经, then a certain price. Then Di Zhang Jing, a certain price. Yeah. Or if you do the let's say Da Mong San, or then a certain price. Seem to have a certain price. So the question you mentioned, does it mean that it is more meritorious when you go for the bigger package? In the Pali Canon, what I've seen so far, in terms of the amount of merit I've seen, right, has to do with a few factors. One factor is the recipient. Yeah, the purer, or the purer, the more pristine the object. Yeah, the more the greater the what you call it, the merits. Yeah, like let's say if you offer to the Buddha versus an unenlightened one, then of course there's a difference. And then also those whom you have a lot of debt towards, like our parents. If you offer to our parents, it's very meritorious also. Yeah, you provide for them in terms of the 衣食住要, food, clothing, food, lodging, and medicine. Yeah, the basic needs. It's very wholesome, because these are individuals who have benefited you. Yeah, there are eight in the list. Also include your preceptor, the teacher. That is basically those who have benefited you. Then the Mahasangha. And then within the eight, there's also the person who is sick. Yeah. In the Sutta, the Buddha said, those who serve the sick serve the Tathagata. Those who serve the Tathagata serve the sick. Yeah. So what about the giver? How about the giver? Because your question is, how about the size, right? In one of the sutta, there was, I think, this prince who did an offering, but he was just recently convinced that there is merit in giving, but he was sort of doing it half-heartedly. Half-heartedly in the sense that he just asked his servant to go and do it. He didn't get involved at all. He just told the servant, okay, go and do offering. And the servant used his money. So it's totally from his side. Yeah, it's fully sponsored by person A. But the person's A servant was the one who go through all the process, prepare the items, choose the most finest quality, everything, and then do the offering. At the end of the life of these two persons, both I think it's the prince and also the servant actually got reborn in a higher heaven because of the deed. Because he was doing very joyously. The servant was doing full of joy, full of like such yeah, so happy doing it. Whereas the master was like, although all the resources is from the master. So it's very interesting. Yeah. So if you, oh wait, let me charge my phone. If you consider this, right, like in the temple, there are usually all the auntie, right? So all the auntie helping to make possible all the offering, right? If they do it very joyfully, all the auntie actually gain a lot of merits. No? But the person who do the actually write and then make the payment, maybe just have a very slight thought. So the merit, slight thought, $10,000, but very slight thought. Yeah, and maybe do it quite unwillingly. But the auntie, wow, rejoice in that, and then wow, prepare, So actually, all the auntie I say auntie not because I'm sexist, but because this is what I see. Usually in temple or auntie, yeah, auntie and then ama. Then usually there's 3 or 4 uncle, retired one. Yeah. Other than that, usually a whole army of auntie. Yeah. And so if you go by what happened in the sutta, then chances are all the auntie actually have a lot of merits. Yeah, have a lot of merits. But here I must also say, if the auntie also listen to Dhamma, even better. Unfortunately, sometimes the auntie here do merit, then there do demerit. Yeah. So and you put it very you understand it correctly. Simply put, when we do all the puja, it's a way to raise funds. Yeah, it used to be positioned it that way, and I think it has to do with how I think is the Chinese culture. We don't feel comfortable to just directly say, we want to raise fund. Sometimes we do it, but many times we just position as, okay, we want to do this, and then if you like to contribute, but nowadays people don't feel comfortable with that. People feel like, because of the way it's positioned, then people feel like, oh, you're getting so commercial. Yeah, puja should be free. Why are the monks chant? Why is the temple or the monks charging for the chanting? Yeah. So, so we're in this kind of a dilemma. I've heard from some Amor monks, some Western monks. They told me that in Singapore, it's much easier to focus on the Dharma, to do Dharma teachings, because the support is very generous. You don't have to go and worry about all this logistics and admin stuff. He said that when he was in Germany, he was invited by one of the Buddhist society, Western orders, whatever. And then he had to travel on his own expense all the way there. And then I can't remember whether he was provided lodging or not, because in other countries, when you travel to another place to give talks, it's not like Singapore. Go Sembawang, give a talk, and come back. Not go Jurong, go NTU, go there, give a talk, and come back in the same day, within a few, at most 1 hour, at most 2 hours, at most. In that country, you want to travel, half a day gone, and the expense is quite great. Then you say, but over there, they they don't have such an idea. He said that they don't have such an idea to do offering. Yeah. So so it's quite funny. I wonder whether it's because he's from the Theravadan tradition, and Theravadan tradition always, highlight, don't do off monetary effort. Then how the poor monk has to travel himself? Then who is going to? Yeah. But I was also told that Westerners, they just don't have this concept. Yeah. Yeah. If you want the money, you need to ask. You don't ask, you don't give. It's just like some of them told me that they have some Western friends. If you go to their house and they'll ask you, would you like to have something to drink? You say, no need. Then they will really not offer anything. Whereas in Singapore, you go to people's house, they will also ask. Then I say, no need. Then I say, how water? Tea? 面啦, no need啦. Then they will continue to pour. Come. Then you also drink anyway. You say no need, but you also drink. Chinese culture. Western culture, you say no need, then they really whole night don't offer. Yeah, they will offer you. They will maybe offer you once. You say no need, then that's it. Don't ever offer again. Yeah, because I was invited to go to Italy to give and that was a one or two times thing. Then, but they also offer that. So I don't know, maybe it's also individuals karma. Yeah. No. But the trouble sometimes is in the current state, many people just take it like what you said, outsource. Yeah, I pay you, then you chant for me, then it's problem settled. So I will strongly encourage all of you, like Ulam Bana, take the time to go and participate in the chanting. Now, even better, just chant at home. Many of them put online, you just join and chant at home. But Shifu, I have to work late. Sometimes some of the chanting is whole day. Anyway, these 2 years, don't get to travel, right? So a lot of leave, right? Take leave, go and do chanting. Right, correct. These 2 years, no excuse. Nobody can tell me, Shifu, but leave are very tight. These 2 years, full of leave. Everybody have a lot of leave, right? Correct? Very good. So these 2 years is a blessing in a way, blessing in disguise. We have nowhere to go, so go to the triple gem. Okay. So Shuomei asked, what is different? Every between? I think maybe when typing there's a typo.
Sorry, it's a typo. What is the difference between awareness and consciousness? How would you explain the difference?
Both are English words. Yeah, both are English words. In most of the English translation, we tend to use consciousness for vijnana or vijnana, shi. And then awareness. We tend not to use it so much. Yeah, but I noticed that some translators use it for like 了知 or even mindfulness. Yeah, sometimes they use mindfulness, sometimes they use awareness. Yeah, like they would say bare awareness. Yeah, referring to the non-discriminating mindfulness. Yeah, but because these are English words, and unless the certain English words are very strongly used across the board to represent certain terms, yeah, then we can say, okay, we all agree this is the meaning, this is the intended meaning. So insofar as these two words are concerned, consciousness is most commonly used for shi. Awareness, quite loose lah. Awareness quite loose. Yeah. In fact, sometimes the two are synonymous as well. Yeah. The distinction here is in the Pali Canon, there are 6 different consciousness, right? Ayas, no sound, body, and the mind. So for the first 5 consciousness, the level of consciousness is, we can say that is a form of awareness only. Yeah. In Chinese, we actually make a clear distinction as well. 了别 versus 分别. 了别 is just a very brief knowing, yeah, or we can use the word awareness. So for example, we tend to think that we use our eyes to read, yeah, read the words, and look at people to make a distinction. This is man, this is woman, this is Shifu, this is not Shifu, and so on. Yeah, but actually it's not the eye consciousness. The eye consciousness is only able to be aware of colors, yeah, of light, of the different, and so on. But even when it's aware of colors, it cannot give it the name. Yeah, the naming part, the labeling part, the discerning, discrimination part, the part that make the distinction. This is this, that is that. That is belonging to the 6th consciousness, the mind consciousness. So mind consciousness is very special because it has this extra feature of being able to, pin stories, yeah, give this name, that name, and part of the problem is this law. Our mind is creative. I hope that can give you some idea.
Okay. Thank you.
Pei Shan asks, if you're considering someone to be a partner, is that a form of craving? How should we go about it without attachment? That's a very good question for lay people. If you're considering someone to be a partner, depends. If it's a hiking partner, then may not be. If it's a meditation partner, then also not craving. But I presume here when you talk about partner, you're talking about the life partner, the getting married together, kind of partner. So if that being the case, then in a way, well, not in a way, you have to consider that, have to simply put it, it is a form of craving. Yeah, it is a form of craving. It is a form of attachment. So how should we go about it without attachment? So the question is, if it's without attachment, right, then why choose that guy or that girl, right? You know what I mean? So unless we say we want to be like Venerable Mahakashapa, yeah, Venerable Mahakashapa. In the case of Venerable Mahakashapa, he is one of the chief disciples, right? As you all know. Before he became a monk, he was married. But when he got married, it was a pre-arranged marriage. And he has no intention to consummate the marriage, meaning that he and his wife, he intended to just get married in name, but not really have the full-blown marriage. Then it turned out that on the night of their marriage, the wife also declared such intention. And you're like, oh, just nice, I also don't want. You can imagine the conversation like, by the way, don't touch me. I'm not interested in all this. And this is just to satisfy my parents. And maybe Venerable Mahakashapa would have said like, you also, you think I want you? I also like that. Well, probably not like that. But the details, that one is another thing. But so the both of them made a pact. They will just maintain that facade of a marriage, but they will wait until both parents pass away, then they will ordain. Yeah, and in due time, their parents really pass away, and then they really give away all their possessions to their servants, and the two of them went forth. But most people don't choose partner in this way. So interestingly, I have encountered some young students. They have this thought. Yeah, they want to do cultivation, but they are not so ready to go full swing to ordain. But they want to cultivate, and yet on the other hand, they still feel a sense of like they wish if they can find someone to practice as a spiritual partner, then they can be each other's support, companion, because they may consider, hey, then at least there will always be there to support them, and they can support each other and things like that. Some have this idea. So I think especially nowadays, a lot of couples, they get married, but they don't want to have kids. So I think in the end, it's still craving. Yeah, it's still craving an attachment. I will look at it this way. If you are able to, if a person is able to remove, to want to remove, okay? Important distinction, want to do it versus being able to do it already. Okay, so if a person have the idea, I want to overcome all attachment. Okay, doesn't mean that the person can overcome all, right? Yeah, just like a person, I want to slim down, I want to go on diet, doesn't mean able to do it, but must put in steps to do it. So ultimately, want to remove all attachment. But today, yeah, this is all attachment. Yeah, after remove all attachment, next day Arahant, but maybe not ready yet. So ask yourself, what is the most severe one that you must overcome? The ones that you higher priority. Yeah. Then here there's also two categories. One category is by right, what is the most important one to overcome? And then the second category is the one that you really can do it. You know what I mean? So I would say, if you ask me to prioritize, if someone asks me to prioritize, right, then the ones that is heavily linked to active defilements, that should be abandoned first. That should be abandoned first. Yeah. So meaning that, let's say, a person or an activity or an object that causes you to break precepts. Getting married doesn't mean you will break precepts, because Eightfold Path can be practiced by lay people. Yeah. So vices, objects, people, activities that for you, when you come in contact, confirm lead you towards the direction of breaking precepts. Then you should abandon that first. Then maybe second, or even more importantly, maybe even before we talk about precepts, those who will set you on the wrong path. That means having established you in the wrong view. Wrong view first, then the wrong behavior. You take care of that in that order. Then subsequently is the more day-to-day one. Yeah. Then 人事物咯. Easier order would be things, then events, then people. People is the hardest. People is the hardest. Yeah. So, but of course, some people like things more than people. So if you ask me, if let's say someone want to consider having another person as a partner, as in a life partner, depends on whether the person intend to have a partner as part of that spiritual path, or just have a partner in the normal sense, two-person pato, then after that get married, then after that have kids, normal, very normal kind of family unit. Then how to go about without attachment? So then here we invoke the ideally shouldn't have attachment, but once you are in such a relationship, confirm have attachment. So then what's the next best thing you can do? Oftentimes reflect on the few things that the Buddha highlight. Yeah, that we ourselves is impermanent. We're not free from impermanence. That person is not is impermanent. Is not free from impermanence. We ourselves is subject to change. We are not free from change. The other person is subject to change, is not free from change. We ourselves is subject to suffering. We are not free from suffering. That person is also subject to suffering, not free from suffering. We ourselves is subject to old age. Yeah. We ourselves is not free from old age. That person is subject to old age. The person is not free from old age. We ourselves is subject to sickness. We are not free from sickness. That person is subject to sickness, not free from sickness. We ourselves is subject to death, not subject to death, are not free from death. That person is subject to death, not free from death. If you can do this reflection over time, even if you get married, I think you will relate to each other much better. But if any of you intend to do this, better to find someone who also have the same direction. Otherwise, very qi-chang. Yeah, you reflect in this way, but the person don't reflect in this way. If your views, especially this level of views, if the view is different, the direction is like that, then initially, because of the love, because of the strong affinity, like that, very close, But over time, far away. Then you want to wake up early in the morning to meditate, then he the one or she the one. Then you want to observe 8 precepts, then he's like, well, now marry you, then you 8 precepts. What is this? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you, Shifu.
Okay, so from the first question on dedication, then Danny's question on the puja, and then the awareness, and then this one. I think this today, the different questions cover a lot of broad range. I think everybody gets some goodie back. 愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿得智慧真明了，
愿得智慧真明了，
不愿罪障悉消除，
不愿罪障悉消除，
世世常行菩萨道。
世世常行菩萨道。
阿弥陀佛。起立。